Recording in progress.
Okay. Do your thing.
Welcome, everybody, to the West County Wastewater meeting. I'm calling the meeting to order at 6:30 p.m., September 17th. Vice President Sudduth will be participating in tonight's meeting via remotely while on business travel. Madam Clerk, could you please take roll call?
Director Alvarado.
Here.
Director King Meredith. Here. Director Weiner. Present. Vice President Sudduth. Let's see. We're not hearing you. I just want to make sure we have audio before we proceed.
I am present.
There you go. And we got it. Thank
Now
you.
we can hear you.
And President Rentila.
Here.
And we have a quorum with 4 members present in the boardroom and 1 participating remotely.
Thank you. Could you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, or you may observe a moment of silence, seated or standing. Director Alvarado, please lead us through the pledge.
Sure, thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
General Counsel, General Counsel Nicole Witt will serve as our parliamentarian for tonight's meeting.
As a reminder to members of the public in attendance, the board has adopted rules governing the conduct of its public meetings. Public participation is welcome and encouraged. All public comments should be addressed to the board as a body, and the board asks that you please respect the 3-minute time limit per speaker. All persons attending board meetings shall observe the rules, any additional rules the board may establish, and the orders of the president with respect to the conduct of the meeting. No person may disrupt or disturb the board meeting. Disturbing, impeding, or otherwise preventing the orderly conduct of the board meeting could result in an individual's removal from the meeting.
Thank you. Directors, before we begin with tonight's agenda, I ask that you be mindful of the board's rules of decorum, in particular to practice civility and decorum in discussions and debate. In order to preserve the order of this and every board meeting, directors will wait to speak until they are recognized and will restrict their comments to the motion or the agenda item under consideration. Thank you. So now is the time for public comment on items not on the agenda. Madam Clerk, have we received any written comments or requests to speak for tonight's meeting?
We have not. If anyone wishes to speak on non-agenda items, please approach the podium or raise your hand in Zoom. Please state your name.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Thomas Johnson, for those of you who do not know me. I did want to make actually a request to something that is on the regular item, the regular agenda item. I just want to know if the board would be willing to switch item number 9 with number 8. We can make a brief statement and allow you guys to move on with the rest of the meeting.
If it's okay with the board, are there any objections?
I move that we switch item 9 and item 8.
I'll second.
Let's hear what you're saying. Whoever's talking.
That would be Thomas, I'm sorry, President.
Yes, Thomas Johnson. I'm sorry.
No, I heard you. I just didn't hear whoever was speaking from the dais. They're not speaking into the mic.
I made a motion to do what Thomas asked, and it was seconded.
I know, but you have to say it. So if I can't hear you, whoever's listening later won't be able to hear it for the record.
But you can
So
hear me
have to-
now, correct?
Yes, but so you have to say whatever the motion is into the record. Just FYI.
Could you repeat that?
I think I did, but I will do that again.
Thank you.
I motion that we move item 9 before item 8 on the agenda.
And I'll second.
Were you able to hear?
Okay. Yeah, I heard
Thank
it.
you.
So,
Thank you. Madam
can the clerk, just for the record, can the clerk read what item 9 and 8 are? President Retila, just so it's clear.
Sure. Madam
Thanks.
Clerk?
So what is being requested is that item 9, which is the Field Operations Unit Memorandum of Understanding, adoption of their MOU and the updated wage schedule, switching that with the West County Wastewater and City of Richmond Biosolids Processing and Operating Agreement.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I will take the discretion and go ahead and switch those out. I appreciate it. Thank you. Moving on.
I think we have to take a roll call vote because I'm not there. Because it's a motion on the floor.
Vice President said it, for this type of an action, it's within the president's discretion. So it's not necessary to hold the vote if we
Okay.
don't have any objection and there's no concerns.
Yeah, I don't object to it. I don't object to it.
So that's if that's the preferred approach and the board is comfortable with that, that's fine.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it.
Thank you. Moving on, we're going to continue with,
Just want to make sure that there are no other public comments.
right.
Okay.
Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Kate Green. All right. Kate, manager here at West County Wastewater. Just wanted to make sure that that we invite all of you and anyone listening and anyone behind me to please join us for our next board and staff event, which is happening next Thursday, September 25th. That is the Old School Classic Car Show and Chili Cook-Off. So we are touting this as a chili cook-off that will have first place through third place, and we're counting on at least one of the board members to be there to help judge that. It should be a good time. It's going to be at the plant. It starts at 11:30, and again, that's Thursday, September 25th, and we hope to see all of you out there. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll make another call for public comment on non-agenda items. Seeing no other comments.
Thank you. Moving on, General Manager Andrew Clow, please lead us through the remainder of the agenda.
Okay, the items which one is it? How many of them are there? Sorry, it took me a minute. The consent calendar consists of items 1 through 5 on the agenda. Madam Clerk, have we received any written comments, requests to speak on this item?
We have not. If anyone wishes to speak on consent calendar items 1 through 5, please approach the podium or raise your hands in Zoom. I see no public comments.
Thank you. Are there
Mr.
any,
President, I would like to pull item 3. We discuss item 3. Pardon me?
Mic is on.
Yes, it is. Item 3, titled Contracts.
And your reason?
I'd like to move that we pull the item from consent and discuss it.
Thank you. Before we entertain that, are there any other questions or comments about the consent calendar? Director King Meredith? No? Director Alvarado?
Nope.
No? Vice President Sutter?
Hear anything you guys are saying? Nobody's using their microphone.
Vice President Sutter? Do you have any comments or questions about the consent calendar?
I do not.
So I don't know if you heard Director Weiner wanted to pull item 3.
No, I didn't hear him.
Okay, so I'm going to ask for a second to his motion. Does anyone want to second it for discussion? I will second it. So, Madam Clerk?
On the motion to pull item 3 for discussion, Director Alvarado,
Sure, yes.
Director King Meredith,
No.
Director Weiner,
Yes?
Vice President Suddeth,
What are we pulling? Again, if nobody, they have to speak into the microphone. I'm just telling you guys right now.
okay.
All I'm hearing is yeses and nos, and I don't know what we're pulling and why.
It would be number 3 of the consent calendar, contract awards.
No.
And President
Yes, for discussion, sure, why not? There's a lot of money tied to this, so I'd like to hear the concerns.
Motion passes 3-2.
Thank you. So I guess we'll move on to the discussion of the item, or is
We
it
need to
pulled?
proceed with the consent calendar vote, and then it'll be the next
Yes.
item considered after consent.
Okay, so calling for a motion to approve the rest of the consent calendar.
I move the item minus item 3.
I'll second. Madam Clerk?
On the motion to move items, I'm sorry, I just want to make sure I say this right. Items 1 and 2, 4 and 5 of the consent calendar. Motion moved by Director Alvarado, seconded by President Rentila. Director Alvarado,
Yes.
Director King Meredith,
Yes.
Director Weiner,
Yes.
Vice President Suddeth. We couldn't hear you.
Yes.
Thank you. And President Rentila,
Yes.
the motion passes 5-0.
Okay, so Director Weiner, your
Okay. Prefer not to pass item 3, contracts. I'm generally opposed to hiring consulting firms, believing that we should bring the expertise that they supply into our district. Construction management, project management, engineering, and inspection services should be done by our staff. It is, after all, our stuff that is being built. We have enough management positions to manage these things rather than manage the outside managers, vet outside managers, hire outside managers, and manage the contracts. If training is required, this item has dedicated enough money to be used for training. For the next few years, even though we have a great need to replace our aging infrastructure, it is clear to me we do not have the financial resources to do them quickly. I believe we have indebted ourselves to handle the emergency of our critical digesters going down, and by doing, have limited the speed of our using our tax revenue streams for future capital asset replacement. This means that project work will extend into the future indefinitely, keeping our current and future employees busy and productive. Finally, I don't believe a large bureaucracy is the answer to handling emergencies. Over the last 10 years, I've watched the district change with the promise of becoming more professional. I hope that wasn't a euphemism for becoming a cash cow for consultants as opposed to paying, training, and retaining employees. I move not to pass item 3.
Thank you for your comments. Director King Meredith?
Thank you, Mr. President Rentila. From my understanding and from the last time we looked over these contracts. We went through the financial and administrative committee, and we thoroughly went through looking at the contracts and what they were, and the uses of looking and to extend out to have individuals to come in and to service. Again, I am for this, but it has already been voted down at this point, and I still stand on the previous vote that I administered at that time. Okay?
Thank you.
I'm going to trust that the Finance Committee has vetted this, and I'm going to go with their recommendation, and I think we should approve it.
Thank you. Vice President Seret?
I'm not sure why we keep going back and forth about questioning what the district's experts have already told us they need when it comes to these consultants. We do not have the in-house personnel to handle what we have put, at this point, tens of millions of dollars invested in these projects. I get it. I came to this district and the very first thing I said was, why do we have so many consultants? We need to invest in in-house labor. But some of the work that these consultants are doing are not things that you can teach people in a matter of months. I get what Director Wiener is saying, but there's not what these consultants are doing. Some of this is highly specialized work, and you can't just wish it away, and you can't just wish that you can train someone in a matter of moments to do some highly specialized work one-off. This is work that some of these consultants have been doing on multiple projects over a long period of time, or they have honed this skill. As the general manager and the deputy general manager, Michael Savannah and Aaron Weiner have told us this, or Weiner has told us this already. These are very specialized skills and equipment that they are doing for us. I'm not one to jump over a dollar to save a dime. This is not something that we need to keep bringing up every single time we talk about the consultants. There's one thing to question consultants, and there's another thing to question the expertise of the people we pay a lot of money to do this job. We are not supposed to be doing the operations. We are here to do governance. And if we're not going to trust the people that we hire to do the professional work, then why are we here? The FNA committee vetted this very well many, many times, every time this has come up. And we have listened to the staff. We have listened to the staff at every level. The general manager has come back to us. The deputy general manager has come to us. The staff is presented to us several times, both on the committee level and at this board meeting. I think we need to move and trust that the staff knows what it's doing. And if they do not, there's a whole different story. But they have not shown us that they don't know what they don't know what they're doing. I think sometimes we don't know what we don't know. And we need to stop second guessing the staff on this. I'm going to ask you to trust that we've done what we were supposed to do and that we trust our staff to do their job. And I mean all of the staff, from labor to admin to deputy general manager to the general manager. Trust them to do the operations as we have hired them to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate your comments, and I appreciate all the comments here. This is not going to be back and forth, but I'll give you an opportunity to say one thing before we move on.
First of all, I disagree with Director Sudduth that It is not my role to question management. I disagree with that 100%. My role is to guide the district in a direction. And it's my opinion that we rely too much on consultants. We had a giant project, which was design build, where the company we hired and vetted and laid out the contract was going to build the project. It was their responsibility. They were to manage the project. The point of doing that kind of contract was that we as a district didn't have to manage it. And yet, we hired consultants to do project management on the project. That was design, build. So they managed the project, the builders built and managed the project. There was layers of management, layer and layer and layer of management. Specialized, I don't know. And really, I have to say that this is a philosophical thing. It is not about trusting our management. This is about how we do business at the district. We're a small district. We got 65 total people. And yet, we have managers managing managers, managing managers, managing projects, managing managers. And so this is a philosophical thing. It's not distrusting our management. It is, they have their view of how things should be done, but I have, as an elected official, my purpose here is to govern, to talk about things from the outside and try to influence the direction of this board. So I hope that our management doesn't think that I'm trying to second guess them. I'm just saying that I have a philosophical difference with the way the district is going, and I just explained myself.
All right, well, thank you for your comments. I appreciate your comments, and I appreciate giving you the opportunity to express your comments. I
President
myself.
President Retila.
Yes?
Thank you for that. May I say something, please?
Yeah, this will be the last time that we speak on this, but yes, please, go ahead.
Thank you, because I just need to say this for the record, because I can't let something this incorrect stand, and I actually just want to have the general manager explain, because the whole purpose of a PMCM, of project management and construction management, and I think that you can't have incorrect information stand on the record. So I think it would be in the district's benefit to have the general manager explain the kind of project this is. There's a difference. I don't think, like I say, sometimes we don't understand what we don't understand, and we don't understand what design build really means, and what PMCM or project management, construction management firm really does, and why we need certain firms to do certain work. And I don't think that it is responsible to leave misinformation on the record. And I didn't say it is not any of our responsibility as elected officials to question. I said it's not our responsibility, and it is not within our purview to do operations. We can question all we want to, but we don't do operations. What we are responsible for is governance. So I would like to ask you, President Retila, to just ask our general manager to explain the type of project this is.
I just got some information that the general manager would like to speak to,
Thank you, sir.
Go ahead.
unless you have someone.
Angela will introduce herself.
Angela Andrews, Director of Infrastructure and Planning. Thank you for giving your comments regarding this item. Just wanted to, just state the purpose of the contract, so we are more informed about what the needs are for the department. So we have been using these contracts to actually support our staff in terms of expediting our projects. We have a full team of project managers. We have 3 project managers, and these on-call agreements are to support their work. They are on an all as-needed basis. This is not for ongoing project management, but just to supplement the work that they're doing. The work includes project management support, construction management support, and inspection support. And this allows our project managers to manage multiple projects. So there are some efficiencies to be had with our project managers managing multiple projects at a time. As far as the Clean and Green project, yes, we do have a team of project managers, internal and external. And the Clean and Green project is a portfolio in itself. So that project is $86 million. And that is, we have one internal project manager working on it, but to have one internal project manager working on an $86 million project, it would be a lot for one project manager to handle. So we do have a team of consultants that are working with that project manager, but it also allows him to focus on other projects such as our emergency force main replacements, sewer replacements, and we also have other teams, other parts of our team of project managers who are focusing on other types of projects. And the reason why I mention that is because our project managers are generalists, and these contracts allow them to focus on the internal work that needs to happen, including contract administration, as internal communications, as well as public outreach for our projects, while the consultants are focused more on the day-to-day on an as-needed basis for a very specific scope of work, very detailed technical scopes of work. And we also, part of these contracts, yes, there's an inspector in-house, but they are focused more on compliance on the residential side, business side, while our inspectors for our projects are focused on specific projects. This also allows, this team of consultants with very limited scope allows us to ensure that we are not laying off any project managers when our capital plan contracts. We had a significant cut to our capital plan, and we were able to not lay off one project manager, even with that significant decrease to our capital plan. So the fact that we had consultants, we were able to pull back on consultant work in order to make sure that we were able to retain each and every one of our valued employees in the capital projects division.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Michael Savannah, Deputy General Manager. There was just one point I wanted to add, and it was about the Clean and Green project and the need for project management. The Clean and Green project and other design build projects are exactly where we want to have more management and more oversight. The project isn't designed yet. There's the ability for things to be installed that we don't necessarily agree with, so we want to spend more time managing projects that are design build, more so than projects that are fully built out, that we've had the opportunity to completely review the specs, the design, and those sorts of things. So I just wanted to add a bit of explanation around why we need additional project management support when we're talking about a design build job versus a design bid build job, which is a lot more strict in terms of what's going to be installed. The district has had many opportunities to review those documents and make sure that they're aligned with what we want to do. Design build job, on the other hand, things are happening in real time. So it's designed and it's built just like it sounds versus us having a lot of time to review it, send it around our internal organization. So it's just a faster pace process. So we want to have additional oversight on that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question for Michael. So I read the agenda, and I don't think I misinterpreted what the contract was asking for. It was to have standby contracts so that if these consultants were needed, they would be available.
Sure.
So I just wanted everyone to know that I did not misinterpret or misunderstand what this contract was about. And also, this contract will be implemented after the Clean and Green project has been completed, am I not correct? We were expecting at the end of the year to be operational, and these contracts extend 3 years, so they're available to hire contractors on demand. Is that not correct?
I'll agree with majority of that. I don't have the timeline in front of me to say that we're going to implement these after Clean and Green is completely done. I know Clean and Green is slated to be done towards the end of the year. I wouldn't want to say for sure that it'll be done before these go in place, but these contracts are not for Clean and Green. My comment was specifically to the comment made about Clean and Green and us not needing project management. These contracts are for the rest of our capital plan. These contracts allow us the ability to scale our capital plan. We have a huge capital plan and we have a very small staff. As Angela explained, we've built it that way intentionally so that we can scale up and down. Our capital funds are the only funds in the agency that are fungible, that we can really adjust without significantly impacting our operations to the organization. So these contracts are specifically for the rest of our capital plan. Clean and Green already has a set of consultants. So these contracts are not to be confused with the consultants that are supporting Clean and Green.
Yeah, I understood that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just wanted to verify that
Sure.
that's the purpose of these contracts. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other
thank you.
questions?
Thanks, Michael.
Thank you. So my point of view is that we had a similar contract come through the IOE committee, and it went to the finance committee, and it was approved by the board. And so I also want to put my trust in our IOE committee. I know they work hard, and I mean our finance committee, because I know they work hard and do their due diligence. So I'm going to have to vote yes on this, but before we do, I'd like to call Director Weiner, if you'd like to restate your motion.
Yes, I move that we do not pass item 3, contract awards, this particular item.
Will you hear the motion?
I got it.
Okay.
You need a second, but before we take any votes on this item, we need to call for public comment. Yeah.
I don't even think we need to do anything further unless one of my fellow board members seconds my motion, which I have not heard a second for.
That's correct. So your motion dies?
There's no second, there's no vote.
So I'd like to make a motion to approve the last consent item, item 3, as written today, September 17th. I ask for a second.
I'll second it.
Madam Clerk?
Take this vote, can we call for public comment on item 3, since it was pulled? No problem.
You have a full house.
No problem. So if anyone has public comment on item 3 of what was on the consent calendar, please approach the podium or raise your hand in Zoom. Seeing none, we have no public comments. And now I will proceed with the vote.
Thank you.
All right. On the vote, or excuse me, on the motion by President Rentila and seconded by Director King Meredith to approve item 3 on the consent calendar, Director Alvarado,
Yes.
Dr. King Meredith,
Yes.
Director Weiner,
No.
Vice President Suddeth, and President Rentila.
Yes.
The motion passes 4-1.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is item 6, which is to receive a presentation, receive an update on the National Stewardship Action Council's advocacy efforts. Madam Clerk, have we received any written comments or requests to speak on regular calendar item 6?
We have not. If anyone wishes to provide comment on item 6, please approach the podium or raise your hand in Zoom. Public comment or introduction?
This is introduction, yes.
We have no public comments. Thank you.
Hello, thank you. Joe Neugebauer, the Environmental Services Manager with West County Wastewater. I just wanted to give a brief introduction to Heidi Sanborn, who's the Executive Director of the National Stewardship Action Council. Some of you are very familiar with the work that they do, but they're basically a 501c4 nonprofit that drives policy and partnerships to advance a circular economy in the United States. So basically what that means is they advocate for extended producer responsibility legislation that requires the producers of products that contain toxic chemicals to fund the proper disposal of those rather than pushing that cost onto local government or just have people dispose of them in the environment. So some of this also involves product bans. She's going to talk a little bit about that. I'm not going to go into detail. I'll let Heidi talk about the great work they've been doing, but just real quickly, they've been dealing with different legislation regarding wipes. We've probably talked about that in the past a little bit with the California law, AB 818. There's a national law now for labeling non-flushable products that's moving through the legislation. She'll give details on that. Also, mercury, products that contain mercury, other kinds of hazardous chemicals that have pathway to water and wastewater. So we're looking forward to that. And it really does give a benefit. We are platinum members. West County Wastewater is a platinum, has a platinum membership with the National Stewardship Action Council. And it provides a lot of benefit for the district because we are predominantly a residential community here. We do have a lot of industrial flow, but a lot of residential flow as well. So a lot of these products are coming into our system through uncontrolled sources. We can control our commercial users, we can control what our industrial users are putting down the drain, but behind closed doors, we obviously educate the community as best we can. We try to teach them what to do, but behind closed doors, we don't actually know what they're putting down the drain. And especially when it comes to the problem of PFAS, which we've been talking a lot about. The BACWA studies that have come out recently have shown that residential sources are a main source. And they say one of the number one ways it gets into the waste stream from residential sources is through urine. So these chemicals are in our bodies. So it's not even about how to properly dispose of products in this case. It's about getting this stuff out of commerce. It's getting it out of the products that people purchase. And so that's part of the work that the National Stewardship Action Council does, along with a lot of other great things. So I'm going to end there and turn it over to Heidi Sanborn.
Much, Joe, and hopefully I can share my screen so I can get to the PowerPoint. Let me go ahead and get back up here. Thank you very much for having me tonight. I'm actually, I'm trying to get to the slide thing because this is very hard to see. Here we go. I'm in DC in hotel, so it's actually 10 o'clock here. So, but you are all worth it. I'm glad to be here and to see you again. Again, we've been collaborating for many years and we hope for that to continue because this partnership has resulted in really big changes that are benefiting your system and your community. But I'm Heidi Sanborn, the founding director and CEO of the National Stewardship Action Council, and we advocate for a responsible circular economy. And we have a 501c3 and a C4, so we do work all around the country and partner with other wastewater organizations around the country, from Chicago to Atlanta. And I do a lot of national work, which is why I'm here in DC now. And we have a unique role because we bridge the policy, industry, and environmental advocates at all levels of government to develop solutions that work. We ensure fair policy development and frameworks where everybody's at the table so no one is on the menu. We are in the room when rules are written. And I've worked in California and lived in Sacramento now for 35 years. So we have deep roots here and are very effective and well-known in the industry, and legislators call us often and say, what can we do for you this year? So that's a nice place to be. We don't watchdog and just focus on problems. We're very much focused on solutions. And we have a track record of success. The 3 bills I highlighted here are bills that really impact wastewater. One is the big bill that we're the only state still that passed it, which is the medicine and needle producer responsibility bill. People, as you know, 7% of people were flushing needles. They didn't have enough places to bring them. Now we have a statewide program funded by the drug companies and the needle manufacturers for safe medicine and needle collection. Also, we don't want medicine being flushed. We also were the co-sponsors of the Truth in Labeling for the Flushable Wipes bill, and that is now in Congress as a bipartisan bill. We're very pleased to report we think that's going to be passed and signed by the president next year, early next year, we hope. We also were in the room negotiating SB 54, the big packaging bill. And I was the co-sponsor of the bill the year before in 2021, SB 343 on truth in labeling for the recycling chasing arrow, where we said you can't call it recyclable if it has PFAS in it, which is another way we were getting the PFAS out of packaging, which is exposing all of us through our food. I won't get into all the other bills, but obviously we're very effective at what we do. And I just want to remind everybody when we go, into our bathroom and the tub is overflowing, we don't grab the mop first. We grab and go for the faucet to turn off the faucet. And that's really what we need to do here is turn that spigot off on PFAS and a lot of these chemicals that are ending up in the wastewater and the microplastics, which the flushable, the wipes have been another added problem. But I have good news on that this year, some of the bills that have passed and also on the governor's desk. And again, a circular economy is based on 3 principles. One is to design out waste and pollution at the source, turning off the spigot. The other is to keep products and materials in motion and recycled. Industrial products in the industrial system, natural products, organics in the natural system. And they shouldn't cross because that's pollution. And then regenerate the natural systems which we've harmed. And we really need to decouple the economic activity from consumption of the finite resources. That's another foundation of a circular economy. There's different policy tools, as Joe said. Sales bans, we banned the sale of mercury-containing lighting, for example, in California. That was a bill we passed a few years ago, turning off the spigot. We've done truth in labeling on several other bills, right to repair, product stewardship, which is a voluntary version of the mandated producer responsibility when there's no other alternative. And then using deposits sometimes, like we did on mercury thermostats. We passed a bill a couple of years ago to have a $30 deposit where people can actually get $30 for returning a mercury thermostat. That's the largest pool of mercury in the public's hands today. And I'm now nationally known for being the person to tell people to stop lying on the labels, because when the public sees something that says recyclable or flushable, they believe it. They think somebody's checked it in the government. And then they buy it thinking it's ready and they can either flush it or they can recycle it. And when that is not the case, they start losing faith in the system, that the system doesn't work for them because the public doesn't have any idea what to do with these things. So I'm glad to say we've got truth in labeling now on wipes in California and around the country. In fact, last year, Michigan and New Jersey passed the bills. So I think we're the 4th state here in 2021 to pass it. And now we've got the national bill, which we're very proud of, and Colorado passed it last year as well. So we're making great progress, and other states have introduced it as well. And I wanted to thank Vice Chair Suda. I did see you at the conference in 2023 when we were there at the Policy Forum in Washington, D.C., and I hope to be there again this next year. But this is where policymakers come together and advocate for wastewater and clean water programs, and we're right in the middle of all of this. So I actually spoke on the panel in 2023, and we were a founding member of the Responsible Flushing Alliance, an advisor, and we have been very active with this group. I've been on their annual meetings. I just did a blog in June with them that's on their website about reimagining and building a circular economy. So we remained very active with the group and aligned nationally with them. And there's a lot of good data still coming from the AB 818 that we passed on the flushable wipes. And, we learned that people are still sometimes flushing even when they know it's labeled not flushable. So I guess, the question will become, how much data do we need if to find out, that you're confident that the label won't be enough? And that's really your decision. But we do know that some people are still flushing, even though they know they shouldn't be. So that's information that we need to internalize and figure out what to do with. The Wipes Act was originally introduced a couple of years ago, a year ago, and in 2024, we thought it might go, but then it didn't at the federal level. We did a sign-on letter, a coalition of support that was national. We were working very closely with the National Association of Clean Water Agencies, continue to do that. And we're doing it now because the bill had to be reintroduced. But the good news is we have 5 members, bipartisan, in Congress that have introduced the bill, including Representative Kevin Mullen from the Bay Area, who's now in Congress. And, I'm very hopeful this year. I just talked to our lobbyists there in DC, and they're telling me that they're very confident it will go this year and then get signed by the president. I even talked to somebody who was on the president's platform when I was in Nebraska yesterday, and she said she didn't know about this and she was going to put the bug in their ear that it would be a good one to sign. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we can get it done this year. And then, I just want to remind you that local governments have their own power. And if, there were discussions a couple of years ago, how long are we going to wait to see if the label does work enough to say we don't need to do anything else, or maybe we need to take local action and just ban the sale of these wipes. And that's really a decision up to you. I'm not leaning any one way. I'm just throwing that out, that local governments do have the authority under the law, because we tested it. Alameda County had the first producer responsibility law in the nation for medicines, and were sued by pharma all the way to the Supreme Court and won. That is not a violation of the Interstate Commerce Clause. So local governments could make producers be responsible, but in this particular case, it's probably more of a ban, a sales ban, because there's no way to get them back. So again, we've done this before, and we did it with pharmaceuticals. We passed 12 ordinances, and it drove the industry to the table to negotiate. I did want to share briefly that we are doing bills on household hazardous waste. When people have liquid hazardous waste in their homes and nothing to do with it, they sometimes put it down the drain and in the wastewater. So we just wanted to make sure you were aware that that bill, last year we introduced it with Senator Ben Allen. We got a lot of pushback from several industries, but what we did was pivot, because we got the paint industry came to us and said, well, we don't want to be with other businesses in a producer-run program. We want to take all the rest of our paints that are not included, because it was originally latex and oil. We had just added aerosol cans of paint the year before, which is another bill we ran. And then they said, no, we want the marine paint, the faux paint, the arts and crafts paints, and all the thinners and everything that we make, we want to put in our program. And everybody likes that program, because Paint Care pays for all these now, and you can return them to retailers. So anyway, we expanded the bill to include all of the paint products. So that was a big win. And that's well over 50% of the household hazardous waste that's received in public facilities at very high costs to manage. So that was a big, big win. And we've pivoted on that bill, but we're still running it again this year with other products. Other things, but it's now a 2-year bill, and so we'll hear it again next year. But bills that I thought you might find interesting are the PFAS bills that have become law in the last couple of years. The Ting bill on DTSC enforcement of the existing PFAS prohibitions, the Diane Pappin bill that banned PFAS in menstrual products, which again also end up in the wastewater sometimes. On the governor's desk right now, 2 bills that we weighed in on very strongly were the Allen bill, which will ban the sale of products with PFAS. The cookware industry fought very hard and got a delay for the cookware implementation of 3 years, but Otherwise, we got 6 major categories of products that will not be able to contain PFAS anymore in that bill. So we'd urge you to weigh in on that. It's on the governor's desk. Then we have AB 1181 by Representative Haney. That will phase out the PFAS in firefighting gear. So if you're interested in that bill getting signed, you might want to weigh in on that bill as well. Another bill that's on the governor's desk is AB 823 by Member Borner. She actually came on our study trip to Canada this year, or last year, and she got very interested in waste management and plastics. And she passed a bill to ban the sale of products with microbeads or glitter in products used as an abrasive to clean, exfoliate, or polish in a non-rinse-off product. There's been a lot of products put on the market with glitter and other plastics that wash off into the wastewater, and this bill, if signed, would ban that in California. So another bill, these bills could, I think, provide a lot of help and relief for your agency. And Tasha Borner is here talking about, how she feels about microplastics. And we also work on other things, but packaging is related with microplastics. Even marine flares. We had a bill that was vetoed by the governor last year. We're running it again this year. It's a 2-year bill, and that marine flares have strontium, and they also have. I used to have perchlorate until very recently, and people would just throw them in the water because they didn't have any way to dispose of an explosive. That's a problem we're trying to solve. But we work on lots of other things, so I just wanted to give you an overview. And you are one of our great members. We're very grateful. We hope to keep this partnership strong and around for a long time. There's not going to be a shortage of things for us all to do, it seems. So just want to be very grateful to all of you and let you know that I'm really working towards a time when we will not have anything sent to the market that does not have an end-of-life plan in place. So with that, I'll thank you very much and be happy to take any questions.
Thank you for your presentation. We'll start out with Director Weiner. Do you have any questions or comments?
No, I'm very impressed by the amount of success and the subtle way that you get good legislation through. It's really great.
That's high praise. He said very impressed.
Thank you very much.
Director King Meredith.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. The presentation was excellent, and kudos to our Vice President, Cheryl Sutters, being there with you with this policy. It's wonderful. I'm so glad that it is getting out there. I know that I have been with Vice President Sutter on many occasions talking about PFAS and what's in PFAS, and surprisingly, people still, as you mentioned, don't understand that flushables are not flushables, and they do clog, toilets. And it's just surprising as we go over this constantly. Even in the past few weeks when we did a community event, we talked about it, and they were just, oh, really? It was just really surprising. We've been at it for over a few years. So I just thank you for what you've done and how you are constantly being championed to do what you're doing for the environment and for us to follow suit. So thank you so very much. And to you, Vice President Sutter. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Alvarado.
I also echo the same sentiments. Thank you for the presentation, and thank you, Vice President Sutter, for the work that you do. It's great to see that the board is involved. Not the board per se, but a board member. And we thank you for your efforts, both of you. Thanks.
Thank you. Vice President Sutter.
Thank you, and thank you, Heidi. It's been a long road, but we're getting there. We're getting there. I had was talking to our colleagues here I'm also in DC.
Oh. could be down the street and not even know it.
Yeah, right. And you know, I wanted to check with Sarah Saperstein, so she keeps me apprised of what's happening, and so the board knows. The House had already passed the wipes bill, and the Senate actually had reported favorably just this month on this wipes bill. You guys, the Senate companion bill was 1092. The House is HR 2269, just for the record. And just earlier this month, they're reconciling. There's like some minor differences between the two bills, so they were reconciling the two bills. And so they were, before they can send it to the president for signature. So it looks really good. It's bipartisan, as Heidi mentioned, which is always really good. There's not a lot that's bipartisan and that's collaborative here, but that's one of them. There was one thing that I did want to tell you guys that I saw in all my travels in the South, in the Midwest, and it's something that we may want to think about, is that what I've been seeing some water districts and wastewater districts do is they distribute these signs that say, please only flush paper, poo, and pee down the toilet. That's all. And they give those signs to local businesses, and they put them in their bathrooms right above the toilet. And it's a nominal cost for the districts, but it works wonders. And I've been seeing them like all over the country. So I just thought it was genius. And I take pictures every time I see them. I take pictures of them. They're in dentist offices, they're in like restaurants, they're everywhere. So I wanted to say that because I thought it was just a wonderful way to even counteract this thing about flushable wipes. Maybe the opposite of that is just to tell people what not to flush. So
I'm actually glad you said that, because I was just in Michigan and I got some of those and I put those on the toilets in my house in South Lake Tahoe because we rent it and people don't know. And so they come from all over the world. So that could be a really good thing to do. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a counter. So it's somewhere in your mind, you're like, oh, okay. So instead of saying, you know, those wipes aren't flushable, instead of saying that, just don't put anything but these things in the toilet. It's like you do with your children. And then with PFAS, we've been doing just a lot of education. We've got some education things coming up with Latinos in Water, and with Black Professionals in Water coming up at WebTech. So I love this update. Thank you so much. This is like wonderful. So we've got some more coming up, as you know, in when we meet again in January in DC. So thank you. This is great. I love it. You know, this is one of my favorite subjects, so I love it. I know it sounds horrible, but nobody goes to bed thinking about PFAS except maybe you and me. So, and Andrew.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you, President Rentila.
Thank you. And I want to echo my colleagues' sentiments. Thank you for the presentation. And this is important, and we do need to get to the general public somehow, and eventually we will, so people understand what PFAS and microplastics can do to people. So I appreciate it. Thank you very much, and thank you for the presentation.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, thank you. Next on the agenda is item 7, to receive a presentation from Communications Summer Intern Shea Herndon on her experience and insights gained during her internship with West County Wastewater District. Madam Clerk, have we received a written comments request to speak on this item?
We have not. If anyone wishes to comment on item 7, please approach the podium or raise your hand in Zoom. Seeing none, we have no public comments.
All right. Good evening again, everyone. I just wanted to formally introduce our summer intern. So Shea Herndon, who is coming up to the podium right now. She's going to go through her final presentation with you. Shea started in the communications program as an intern on July 1st. Her last day, sadly, is this Friday, and so I'll have her take it away. I want to make sure this works for you, though. It doesn't look like it's on. We'll see on the side.
I'll just see if it works. Good afternoon, West County Wastewater Board of Directors. My name is Shea Herndon, and I'm the summer communications intern brought to West County Wastewater through our partnership with Optera, and this is my final presentation. Before we get started, I'd like to introduce myself a little bit. I am originally from San Diego, right outside of Pacific Beach, if you're familiar with the area. And I've recently graduated from UCLA with a bachelor's degree of science and environmental science with a concentration in environmental engineering. And with that concentration, essentially we're taught a lot about water and wastewater treatment processes, which I found super fascinating and wanted to learn a lot more about, leading me to finding West County Wastewater. And so I saw on the job board all the descriptions they had available about the Clean and Green project, and I knew I really wanted to get firsthand experiences in any way I could with such a meaningful project to reduce methane gas emissions and transition to more renewable energy at the plant. I was looking for any way to get on a team working on such a cool project, to learn more about water treatment processes, and also I've always really liked writing articles and using different communications tools such as creating posters and flyers, and so I knew that this internship would be the perfect intersection between environmental engineering enhancement for my own personal background as well as learning more about communications. Some of my daily duties for this internship concluded writing weekly newsletter articles for our internal and external newsletter, co-hosting the Drop podcast with communications program manager Kate Gibbs, and working on webpage upgrades for our West County Wastewater District site, as well as the Living Levy webpage, which I'll talk about a little bit more later, and also event coordination, such as for our event coming up next week, the chili car cook-off, which I'm sad I won't be able to make it to, and other events like taking pictures and setting up for our employee appreciation celebration, which happened in July, I think. The first main project I worked on that I want to talk about is the West County Wastewater Water Quality Resource Recovery Plant virtual tour, and I created this in ArcGIS Story Map. And essentially it's kind of like an educational tool so you can get a feel for what it is that the Clean and Green project is doing to help innovate and upgrade our infrastructure. And for those of you who aren't familiar, ArcGIS is a program, kind of like mapping software that you can do different sorts of analyses in. And this is through the Story Map application, which allows for you to add locational pings onto a base map, which you can see on the right, and associate media and text with each pinpoint. And so this was kind of inspired by the fact that we have our webpage design consultants, Convey. They have a drone photographer coming out every week to film the Clean and Green project updates, and we saw what he was doing for them, and we thought we might as well tie it into a cool educational tour for people to learn more about what it is that we do at the plant. The second project I want to talk about is how I got the opportunity to interview program manager Kate Gibbs and learn more about her career and background in the Women in Wastewater article series. And so this was a new style of writing for me. I haven't conducted the opportunity to learn a lot more about how to do that style of writing and get to know Kate better throughout the process. The last thing I want to talk about is our Living Levy webpage product updates. And for this, we've been having monthly meetings with our webpage design consultants, Convey, all throughout my internships. And essentially, it's to create this webpage for our Living Levy project, which is a gradually sloped natural wall used to help protect our plants, like new infrastructure from the Green project, from sea level rise threats that are projected to come later on. And essentially, we provided content upgrades for the media, templates, and text, and just the verbiage to ensure that it was with the mind of West County Wastewater and reflecting what it is that we wanted to show. And through these meetings, I also was inspired to create a sea level rise inundation map, also in ArcGIS. And this essentially shows 3 different sea level rise inundation projections at the plant. And I sourced this data from CMRA, which is Climate Mapping Resilience Association, I believe. And essentially these 3 trajectories are following an intermediate emission trajectory as opposed to a high emission trajectory, which would show worse sea level rise threats earlier on. And yeah, you can kind of just see what part of the plants will be expected to be below sea level at different parts in the year. Some of my favorite experiences throughout this internship, and actually like my favorite part about this internship in general, is just the opportunity it's given me to see different parts of what goes on in the wastewater treatment plant. And so the first picture shows me shadowing the environmental compliance inspector team. And we went out to the In-N-Out in Pinole and checked their grease traps. And I learned a lot about the different environmental compliance and regulation that comes into play when they're doing these checks, and also the social aspects, because as you can see, we're like right by the drive-through, and everyone's kind of looking at us and deciding if they want to eat somewhere else based on what they can see. And I also had the opportunity to shadow the plant laboratory team, and this is them showing me what the microbes or the bugs look like at the plant, which is part of the biological treatment process, as well as how they test for fecal coliform using fluorescent indicators. And some of my main key takeaways from this internship has just been how important it is to have a strong internal communications team to ensure that everybody's on the same page and that there's no duplication of efforts, as well as having a strong external communications team to ensure that we can connect with the community and make sure that they're on the same page as us and can work with us when they need them to. So attending the North Richmond Music Festival, and I had the opportunity to really connect with the community and get a better grasp for their understanding of whether or not they're in our district, what they can and cannot flush down the toilet, and just other, giving them information about what programs we have to offer to them. And for my next steps, I'm mainly just looking for more internships to kind of get more of a feel of what it is in the environmental testing and wastewater industry that it is that I want to do before I commit to anything long-term. So just more hands-on experience and lesser, smaller positions, I guess. And now I'd like to open this up to any questions. Thank you for your time, and my contact information is provided above.
Thank you. Director Weiner.
Thank you for your efforts. It sounds like you got something out of your internship that was valuable, and I loved your website where you click on a part of the plant and a close-up picture that's active shows up. Pretty impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah, I need the link to that. So make sure I get that.
Okay.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Director King Meredith.
Thank you, President Ventila. And thank you, Sharon. I
Thank
got
you.
a chance to meet you hands-on at the Blues Festival.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it was very enlightening, and the community really enjoyed you because we had an ongoing for 2 hours with picking and picking up. So they, the information that you shared with the community was well taken. And for what I've seen you've done since then, you've done phenomenal. So thank you for being here and taking away the experience that you received here.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, enjoyed you. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Alvarado.
Thank you for your presentation. It was very informative. Is there anything you're planning to do after you leave us now, or are you going back to school, or?
I think I'm going to go back to school in a couple years down the road, and I'm going to look at the CWEA programs to see if there's anything that aligns with my interests as a next step.
Okay, Well, good luck with that,
Thank you.
and thank you for your time here.
Thank you.
Vice President Sadet?
Shay, thank you. This was really informative, and especially because you're an environmental scientist. That made me clap first. And when you're looking at the CWEA, also look at some of the Water Leadership Institute programs. I saw some of them today, so there's plenty of them. I can send it over if you want some more information. Most of them come out like right around now, between now and January, so you can apply up here, or are you going back down to Southern California?
I'm open to both locations, but most likely Southern California.
Okay. Yeah, there's quite a few right now for leadership development. So, and it'll allow you to kind of explore what you want to do.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Thank you for that.
absolutely. And thank you.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. And I'm glad to hear that your experience was fun and you learned a lot. So we're going to miss you. So,
Yeah, I'm going to miss it here too.
well, thank you for your presentation, and thank you for everything you've done.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Shea. Next on the agenda is regular calendar item number 9, which was moved in front of item 8 by the board president earlier, at the request of Thomas Johnson, president of our field operations unit. And so this item is to approve the new field operations unit memorandum of understanding for the term January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2028, and adopt a revised fiscal year 2026 wage schedule to implement the wage adjustments. Madam Clerk, if you received any public comments or requests to speak on this item?
We have not. If anyone wishes to comment on regular calendar item 9, please approach the podium or raise your hand in Zoom. We have someone at the podium.
Yes,
Thomas
you do.
Johnson.
All right, Thomas Johnson, CSO Field Supervisor, and also President of the represented members here at West County Wastewater. Knowing that the contract was going to be voted on tonight by the board, after having a very interactive and active negotiations this year, looks like we were able to come to an agreement, and we didn't want to, be any less active or interactive with you, and saying thank you for coming to the terms that you've come to with the last best and final offer, and not want to take up a whole bunch of your time. So that's pretty much all we have to say tonight.
Thank you, Thomas.
Yep, thank you as well.
So I'd like to ask the board if there's any comments or.
Mr. President, I think the clerk needs to just finish up. Make
Oh,
sure
I'm
there's
sorry,
no
yes.
other-
I just want to make sure there are no additional comments, public comments. Seeing none, thank you.
Good evening, Tanya Williams, Human Resources Manager for West County Wastewater. Good evening, President Rentila and the rest of the board. Just want to say the current FOU, Field Operations Unit Memorandum of Understanding expired December 31st, 2024. Over the last several months, we've been negotiating with our West County team and the union to come to an agreement with a new MOU. We've reached an agreement, and so we're here tonight to ask the board to approve the new contract, which is a 3-year term contract beginning January 1st, 2025, going through December 31st, 2028. We're also asking you to adopt the revised fiscal 26 wage schedule so that we can implement the wage adjustments. And so that's our ask for you tonight. And I don't know if anyone has any questions.
Any questions? Vice President Sadet, any questions?
I don't have any questions, but if there are no questions, I'd like to just move the item.
Thank you.
Are there any objections to moving the item?
I second.
We have a motion and a second, Madam Clerk.
On the motion by Vice President Suddeth and seconded by Director Weiner to approve regular calendar item 9, Director Alvarado,
Yes.
Director King Meredith,
Yes,
Director Weiner,
Yes.
Vice President Suddeth,
Yes.
President Rentila.
Local 102 says yes.
The motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is regular calendar item number 8, to approve the biosolids processing and operating agreement between the West County Wastewater District and the City of Richmond. Madam Clerk, have we received any public comments or requests to speak on this item?
No, we haven't. If anyone wishes to comment on regular calendar item 8, please approach the podium or raise your hand in Zoom. Seeing none, we have no public comments.
Go ahead, Aaron.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Director Rentila, Board President Rentila, directors and staff.
Still love you.
I'm very happy to be here tonight requesting your approval for the City of Richmond WCW Biosolids Treatment and Operating Agreement. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say this is a culmination of thousands of hours of work by City of Richmond, West County Wastewater, Hanson and Bridget staff, and consultants that began 4 years ago in November of 2021. The agreement was driven by the Clean and Green Project, West County Wastewater's desire to discontinue use of the sludge lagoons and its mission to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and otherwise lead as an environmental steward. Dissolution of the West County agency came as an added benefit that reduced bureaucracy, streamlined processes, and improved our efficiency as an organization, or as two organizations. This process and the assignment of assets resulted in the sludge line, also the 6-inch line that runs between the two facilities, being assigned to the City of Richmond as owner, which also is, and basically made that sludge line, instead of a two-way line, which used to take leachate from our facility and down to the Richmond facility. It's a one-way line now, which also has numerous benefits. The process and assignment of assets result, I'm sorry, I just covered that, apologies. It's important to mention also that the additional major components of the dissolution, the WCA dissolution and transition to the new combined biosolids treatment framework. Each one of these was a significant project on its own, and there were actually 7 of them, and I just wanted to touch real briefly on them because it really gives an idea of how much was involved in this effort. So one of the early items was research of property records and historical documents to determine property and asset ownership and records of existing easements. We had to go through developing and designing and constructing the Clean and Green project with the components and capacity to accommodate treating the city's digested biosolids at our facility at 2377 Garden Tract. West County Wastewater and the city discussed, collaborated, and agreed on changes to the biosolids processing operations at WCW's treatment plant, which will ultimately lead to a substantially smaller carbon footprint for both organizations and beneficially reusable Class A or B biosolids. Negotiating changes to asset ownership, cost sharing, and responsibility for future operations and maintenance. Development and execution of a pilot project between WCW, the city, and West County landfill to confirm all the leachate could effectively be treated through our treatment facility without adversely impacting the effluent sent to East Bay Mud for reclaim. Staff also entered into an agreement with Carollo Engineers to perform a technically based cost of service analysis to support the various components of this effort. An agreement is also nearly final between West County Wastewater and Republic Services for the continued exchange of services. The agreement involves West County Wastewater treating landfill leachate class 1 and 2 in exchange for Republic Services hauling our biosolids to end use. And I'll close by noting the agreement provides substantial benefits to all the stakeholders involved. They include financial benefits, logistical benefits, risk mitigation, and improved efficiency for the biosolids treatment. And that's really what I wanted to summarize for you, and I'm happy to take questions.
Thank you, Aaron. And it was, as he said, it was quite an effort. And along the way, we took a close look at the West County agency, and by the time we looked at all the assets, et cetera, made the recommendation to that board that they consider dissolution, which ultimately they did, which is really quite an achievement in itself to dissolve a joint powers authority and reduce bureaucracy and increase transparency at the same time. And then these streamlined agreements make it a lot easier for us to operate, and we don't have the liability of that sludge leachate line, which is huge.
Right, and you know, I did mention in here, but I think the benefits to the city of Richmond as well that aren't necessarily fully realized on their end by avoiding having to treat biosolids and haul out of Point Richmond, which is a residential area, and there's other benefits as well as we've discussed. So,
that's all. Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you. Questions, Director Wiener? Comments?
No, I've been at the district for the entire time that this process has been going on. It's clear from the agenda documentation that all the work that you described was done. It just seems that it's a huge improvement. And also, it was necessary for us to do our Clean and Green project. I remember that there was huge risk that if we didn't have an agreement with Richmond on taking their solids, that there was a possibility we wouldn't have enough material to justify the whole Clean and Green project. So I was very gratified to read the contract and see all the details and see how things have been divided. And also, there was not a lot of interest in the joint powers agreement from the board of Richmond Council. Richmond Council didn't seem to understand what the heck it was. In my brief term on the joint powers agreement, it seemed like no one really knew what it was for. Now it's totally defined what it's for. I think this is just a success, a great success. I like the fact that they're helping pay for the processing. That is a coup. I don't know how you pull that off. Richmond has notably not want to spend any money on anything, so that's great. Good job. Good job. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you. Director King Meredith?
I'm going to be really brief with this. By reading all the information and hearing your presentation, thank you for the hard work that has been taken into this, getting this done. I'm very impressed with it because I wasn't here at the beginning, but what all you had to go through and the staff had to go through in order to get where you got, you know, working with the city of Richmond and both parts coming together. I think it was well presented, and the job is well done.
Thank you. We had an amazing team involved.
Thank you.
Director Alvarado.
Long process, lots of work. So thank you for your efforts. to make it happen. Let's move on.
Vice President Suddeth?
A few words. I always like David's few words. Ditto.
Yeah.
And I've been here long enough and on that committee long enough to know how much work went into this. So thank you, Aaron. And thank you, Nicole and the HB team and also to the general manager. This has been a long time coming. And it's been a lot of, not just red tape, but unnecessary
Big
hoops that we've had to go through to get to this. So thank you. I do have a request. I would like to see us track and I think I spoke about this at our meeting, and David too, Director Alvarado. I think we spoke about these at one of our final JPA meetings. Is I'd like to see us track the activity under this new agreement. And I want to do that because I'd like to coordinate the outcomes with our Bay Area Biosolids Coalition. Because we do a lot of research on that coalition as a biosolids committee. So I'd like to be able to use some of that information because I'm on both of those, the coalition and the committee. So, and I know it'll take a while, but I'd like to be able to use some of that information to report back to see how he's going. And just, it's always good when we do this kind of work to have some real life examples from us to include in that kind of data to include in their paperwork. Es todo.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I also want to thank everybody for their hard work. It shouldn't go unacknowledged. And it was my first big signature was signing the dissolution paperwork. And I could see everybody's shoulders just take a big deep breath, like finally. But I did want to ask, again, I want to thank you guys, but I did want to ask, so SR Raven was involved with some conversations about biosolids and converting it to hydrogen. And I was wondering if that looks to me like it's gone.
No, it's not gone yet. Aaron still stays in touch with them, and he might be able to give you, I just smiled at Aaron because, yeah, my vision is the conveyor belt that leads from our building on up to the top of the hill, and they convert it into hydrogen and help use, they draw the water from that and some of the carbon, but it's still a potential. You know, we're keeping the discussions open. I'm not exactly sure where it's going right now, but maybe Aaron can have a word or two on that.
Yes, thank you, General Manager Clow. Yeah, so it's been several months since I've heard an update on what's going on. I do know that they have proceeded in construction with the facility. They're, like everybody, they're having, trouble and delays with the air district permits and that type of thing. But what I can do, if at your pleasure, is to get an update and bring that back, as to where that is.
Yeah, maybe at the IOE meeting. Yeah, that'd be wonderful. I appreciate that.
Sure.
Once again, thank you for all your hard work. It's greatly appreciated, and it hasn't gone unnoticed. So,
thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you all.
I wanted to add one more thing, Mr. President. As part of the West County Agency dissolution, we are intending to have a annual joint meeting of some form of the Richmond City Council and our board, whether it's a full meeting or of their committees. We're not quite sure yet. We're going to work that out with the city of Richmond, but that was part of the, reduce the bureaucracy, which wasn't needed because it only managed a couple of assets. It was needed when it was originated for the purposes of getting the bond funds to build much of the infrastructure back in the 1970s, early 80s. But at this point, it wasn't, and so we don't have to have that bureaucracy, but rather talk about the status, and it's what you mentioned, mentioned a moment ago, Vice President Sudduth, about having an update and understanding how it's going, is that the two agencies together would make a presentation about what's happening with both of the sewer systems in their entirety, including this particular agreement.
Thank
We
you.
haven't set that up yet, but we're aware of it.
All right, looking
Yeah.
forward to it. Thank you. Thanks again. Moving on. Oh, yeah, yeah, can we get a motion to approve this item?
So moved.
So moved.
All right, second, anybody?
Second.
All right. Madam Clerk? It was a tie.
Moved by Alvarado.
Okay,
I didn't hear it.
yes.
On the motion.
My name shouldn't be on it. You're second.
I'm second, but by Director King.
If Director Alvarado moved it,
Okay,
Director King Meredith seconded it.
right.
Okay. I heard my name.
We're gonna say Alvarado instead. Okay, gotcha. On the motion by Director Alvarado and seconded by Director King Meredith to approve regular calendar item 8, Director Alvarado.
Yes.
Director King Meredith. Yes. Director Wiener.
Yes.
Vice President Sutton.
I don't think our speaker's on.
Sorry. I'll repeat. So on the motion by Director Alvarado and seconded by Director King Meredith to approve regular calendar 8, item 8, Director Alvarado voted yes, Director King Meredith voted yes, Director Wiener voted yes. Vice President, your vote?
Yes.
And President Rentila?
Yes,
The motion passes 5-0.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Now on to more mundane issues. Next on the agenda is regular calendar item 10, to adopt a resolution amending the management authority of the general manager to include authority to execute software license subscriptions and contracts for associated hardware and professional support services, and rescinding resolution number 2023-017. Madam Clerk, have we received any public comments or requests to speak on this item?
We have not. If anyone wishes to speak on item 10, please approach the podium or raise your hand in Zoom. Seeing none, we have no public comments.
Good evening, President Rentila and members of the board. Justin Lovell, Deputy General Manager. So just very briefly, I want to present this item that we're recommending to rescind the previous General Manager resolution, management resolution, with a new resolution, which is adding a paragraph specifically related to delegating authority to the general manager to approve related software licensing, kind of contracts, agreements related to our software purchases in excess of $50,000. We did present this to the Finance Administration Committee. This is, as we have been investing in software systems, our software systems are competitively procured. We go through a vetting process to select the systems we have. Some of our systems, their annual licensing fee are in excess of $50,000. We go to the board to approve the original contract, but after that initial term, we, as we use these software systems, we continue to train staff and further develop them and use the data to make decisions with the operations within the organization. It becomes much more efficient and effective for us to continue using the systems that we've invested in. And this action will just allow us to continue to use the systems without having to come back to the board every year to authorize the continued use and purchase of that software license fees and other associated training with those vendors. So with that, I would happy to answer any questions.
Can I ask one question of Justin? And while we may do that, how long will we go before issuing an RFP or coming back to the board and requesting that we continue to use a particular software vendor?
Most softwares, we're going, 5 years plus, could be 10 years, like our current financial system. We have been using it for over 15 years. There's been updates. We're looking at doing additional updates within the existing system. So as long as the software is working for us and is providing the value that we need it to, we will continue to use it. There are times when software systems, whether they're bought by another company, that product gets phased out from that vendor. There are times or the current system that we're using does not make a business sense anymore, and so then we would need to move on to another one. So it's really, we look at it on a case-by-case basis.
Thank you. Director Weiner?
President Rutila,
Yes?
this came to the Finance Committee. Do you want us to talk first, or?
Sure. Sure, because you may be able to answer some questions before they're
Yeah,
asked.
yeah.
Thank you.
So, yeah, no problem. Director King Meredith, do you want to add anything before I speak, or, because we had a very robust conversation about this,
Yeah.
sir. Go ahead.
So I yield it over to you, Vice President.
Okay,
Chair.
so the reason I wanted to say something before the board starts asking questions is, this is one of the things I do every day at work, and we did ask a lot of questions at the Finance Administration Committee meeting, and we decided to bring this to the full board for and recommended approval because it's the norm in the industry. Software is not one of those things you change every year, especially software that's embedded into the systems of a firm, a district, a company. And it is not unusual to spend hundreds of thousands, even upwards of $1 million on systems of core software systems. Things like your payroll systems, your repository systems, I'm trying not to use name brands. Your accounting systems, your finance systems, the SCADA systems that we use, construction management systems, anything like that we may use, right? And so, and Justin, you can correct me on the numbers if I get this incorrect for West County, but I believe we spend what, 600,000 annual?
Yeah, it was
on software.
nearly 700,000, so you're about right. And
Okay, about
that,
700,000.
an aggregate of all of our
An
software
aggregate.
systems, yes. a year.
Right. And so that's just not single purchases. So, and usually what we do, and we put out a request for proposals, or when we are purchasing software has an annual automatic renewal, and it's by seats and by users. They call them seats, but it's by users. And so it will renew unless you, meaning the company, takes an affirmative action to cancel it. It's not like other contracts. So you have to actually do something to cancel the contract. They're subscription-based services. Is not like it used to be. So most of these are cloud-based systems. They're subscription-based. They're not the traditional, the district has something in the back office, some big computer, and they're going from computer to computer, putting the software on each computer, right? It's on a cloud-based system. And so they're responsible for the updates. They're responsible for all of these. And so we did ask if the training was involved. And so that's going to take care of a lot of this. Because of that, you know, those licensing fees, that all of those upfront yearly fees is going to exceed the 50,000 that's currently in the authority that the GM has. And what they're seeking right now is just not, it's going to be too inefficient to what we're asking them to do in our strategic plan. We're asking them to make data-driven decisions, but then that allow them to do what we're asking them to do. If we're asking them to make database decisions, have access via the software to make those database decisions that drive them back to the strategic plan that the board adopted. So we need to make sure that we're giving them the tools that they need. Now, that doesn't mean that they're going to be going out and buying a whole bunch of things and not letting us know. My understanding, and Justin, this is where you can fill this in for the board, is that any of these purchases that the GM uses under this authority will be included in the GM spend report, correct?
That is correct. So any of the purchases that exceed the $50,000 threshold, well, it will actually be including all, as we do on a quarterly basis, we'll be providing this as a report to the board. So you can be informed
And all
of
of it,
what are the purchases that we're making under this authority.
and all of it will be tied back to the board's strategic plan.
Yep. That is correct. So any, as it's highlighted in the strategic plan, to use data to make many of our operating decisions, these software systems support the storage and use and collection and analysis of that data, so we can come back to the board. So this is actually a critical component of us as staff to be able to execute the strategic plan.
And the last thing that I wanted to underscore for the board is that it often takes anywhere from 60 to 90 days to acquire software. And so I wanted you to explain that part to the board, right? So that having to come to the board each time you need, how that efficiency is undermines your need to quickly and effectively and efficiently get.
Yeah, sure. So some of our larger software systems that encompass multiple departments, that are more complex, they can take several years to do full implementation. We spent on our CMMS system, we went through a very robust process to determine what our needs are. Then we went through a process to look at all the options out there and make a selection. So it took us 18 months just to come up with a decision on which software we want to use. And here we are 2 years later, and we're still working on we always find something else. How could we use this software? How can we use this system? So we're going years into it. So it's in a big investment, but it's a very important, critical piece of how we're managing our infrastructure. So it's just some software systems, it's a multi-year project, or every couple years our business needs change, and so we want to continue using that software, but we want to add some additional usage, and so we'll need some training, or we'll need the vendor to help us implement different components and modulars with it. So,
thank you. Thank you.
With that, sir, I believe, unless you guys have more questions, that's all we had to give to you. Unless Director King Meredith, that they sparked any other thing for you. That's all I had.
No, you covered it very well, and especially when one of the main things that we talked about, that it ties into our strategic plan, and you hit it 2 or 3 times. So yes, no, you covered it all. I was looking over my notes, as you did, expound on it. So thank you. Good.
Thank you. Director Wienert, questions, comments?
I only had one question, and that was, the answer to that question was $700,000. As far as being convinced that to vote for this, I am going to vote for it. I approve of it. I think it just faces the reality of software, how software works. I was going to mention that in passing, I heard some court cases that have come up regarding software as service and some restrictions that are placed on software vendors to protect consumers. I don't remember exactly what that part of software as a service it covered, but I suggest that keep your ear open. Other than that, for 40 years, I basically installed new, learned new, and learned the process of installing, connecting. I made software work together that wasn't necessarily designed to work together, and ultimately was a database and data management and SQL programmer, and so I didn't need any convincing. Director Suddeth, I understand what's going on, and I think this is a good idea.
Thank you. Did you have anything else you wanted to add, Director King Meredith?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Director Alvarado?
I would just like to move the item.
Okay. I myself agree, and I'll second that. Madam Clerk?
On the motion by Director Alvarado and seconded by President Rentila to approve regular calendar item 10, Director Alvarado,
Yes.
Director King Meredith,
Yes.
Director Weiner,
Yes.
Vice President Suddeth, and President Rentila.
Yes.
The motion passes 5-0.
Okay. Before the board convenes into closed session, I recommend that we take closed session agenda out of order. We will first meet on the closed session item 12, conference with labor negotiators. Following that discussion, we will return to open session to report it out if necessary, and then consider open session item 13, possible action to amend the general manager's employment agreement. Then we will return to closed session for item 11, public employee appointment. Now is the time for public comment on closed session item 12. Madam Clerk, have we received any comments or requests to speak on closed session item 12?
We have not. If anyone wishes to comment on item 12, please approach the podium or raise your hand in Zoom. Seeing none, we have no public comments.
Thank you. We will now convene into a separate room for closed session, and we will return to open the conclusion of our closed session, item 12, and we will report out if necessary. Thank you. The time is 8:20. All right. Mic's off. Laptop closed.
I'm not sure what we just decided.
Okay, we're all here, okay.
The gang's all here except
All
for
right,
Sutton.
you guys ready? Hello, everybody. We've just returned from closed session. General Counsel, is there anything you'd like to report from closed session? I'm sorry, the time is 8:30. Let me repeat that. The board has returned from open session. General Counsel, is there anything to report from closed session? The time is 8:30. Nicole?
Apologies, I was just making sure that we had Vice President Sudduth and we were up and recording.
And she's back.
There is no reportable action.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and read this off if you don't mind, right? Thank you.
Apologies, so we will proceed to open session item 13. We should ask for public comment and then we can.
Then read this? All right, let's, okay, so we've reconvened to, we want to reconvene to open session, report a session, and report out from closed session if necessary. Moving to item 13. Should the general manager read this, or?
No, you.
Okay. Possible actions to amend the general manager's employment agreement. The board may consider possible actions to amend the general manager's employment agreement and adoption of the revised wage scale. Next on the agenda is item 13. Possible actions to amend the general manager's employment agreement. Madam Clerk, have we received any public comments or requests to speak on this item?
We have not. If anyone wishes to speak on item 13, please approach the podium or raise your hand in Zoom. Seeing none, we have no public comments.
Thank you. Now, the board has completed its annual evaluation of the general manager, Andrew Clow, and found that Mr. Clow had an excellent year. In recognition of Mr. Clow's excellent performance over the past year, according to the board's own review process, I am recommending that the board approve a 3.5 salary increase for a gross salary of $348,485, effective as of April 5, 2025. In addition, the recommended amendment includes a change to the severance payment provision to provide that if the board terminates the general manager without cause, WCW will make a severance payment of 9 months base salary and the cost up to 9 months premiums for medical, dental, vision, and vision insurance received at the time of termination. The amendment will be publicly available. With that, I move the approval of the second amendment to the general manager's employment agreement and adoption of the revised wage schedule. Is there a second or any further discussion, Madam Clerk? I'll move for a second.
I'll second it. Oh, did she second it?
It's okay.
Oh, to give it to her. Okay. all
Okay.
right.
Good.
Got it.
So, Madam Clerk,
Any further discussion?
excuse me?
I'm going to ask for any further discussion.
Yeah, is there any further discussion? Seeing none, would anyone
Well, I
like to
hope
put?
not.
Yeah, would anyone like to put a motion on the floor?
Oh, we got it.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
ready.
And then there's a second.
Yes.
Madam
there is.
Clerk?
On the motion by President Rentila and seconded by Vice President Sudduth to approve the second amendment to the general manager employment agreement and adoption of the revised wage schedule. Director Alvarado,
Yes.
Director King Meredith,
Yes.
Director Weiner,
Yes.
President or Vice President Sudduth. Yes. President Rentila,
Yes,
the motion passes 5-0.
thank you. I'm seeing now is the time for public comment on closed item session, item 11. Madam Clerk, have we received any comments or requests to speak on closed session, item 11?
We have not. If anyone wishes to comment on closed session item 11, please approach the podium or raise your hand in Zoom. Seeing none, we have no public comments.
Thank you. So the board will now convene into a closed session for item 11, and the time is 8:35. Thank you. So we're going into closed session. Thank you.
Again?
Yes, one more time. I think, please do.
Coming. Here we go. One more time.
You got all of them? There's just two, right? Oh, your two, yeah. The others are.
guys later.
Okay. Have a good one. So we continue without the general manager, or he's got to read the, is he on a bio break, or? Huh? Oh, there you go. All right. We're still recording? Thank you, everybody. Welcome back. It is 10 after 9. The board has returned from open session. There is no reportable action from closed session at this time. So, General, if you'd like to continue.
Thank you, Mr. President. Next on the agenda is other business item 14, reports from staff, general manager, and general counsel, which include the quarterly investment report for the quarter ending June 2025. Madam Clerk, have we received any public comments or requests to speak on this item?
We have not. If anyone wishes to speak on item 14, please approach the podium or raise your hand in Zoom. Seeing none, we have no public comments.
Thank you. A couple of announcements. The El Sobrante Chamber of Commerce, the El Sobrante Stroll on September 21st, this Sunday. I imagine Director Weiner will say something else about that. As Kate mentioned earlier this evening, our old school classic car show and chili cook-off on September 25th, and the El Sobrante Pride at Lemoyne Park in Richmond on September 28th, and Director Weiner will be a guest speaker, so I imagine he might want to provide a couple more details on that as well. And staff is available to answer any questions regarding the quarterly investment report. That's all.
Okay, I guess we're to director's reports then, huh?
Well, unless there's any questions for me on any of that.
Are there any questions or comments?
No, I just guess I'd like to talk to Kate for some talking points. I think I can wing it, but I prefer not.
She's aware and prepared to work on that. Yeah.
And for the pride speaking. And yeah, the stroll is happening.
Well, can we,
Well, hang
we
on,
should
just-
do that under the next item, and you'll be first up, I believe.
No.
There wasn't anything to move, I just gave the updates, but I need to read in that we're on to item 15, director's reports, if there's no comments or questions for us. Oh, no, I asked if there were any questions, so I will do that next. The final item on the agenda is item 15, director's comments, meeting reports. Madam Clerk, have we received any written comments or requests to speak on this item?
We have not. If anyone wishes to speak on item 15, please approach the podium or raise your hand in Zoom. Seeing none, we have no public comments.
All right. As a reminder, directors will report on meetings they attended for which they are seeking reimbursement or compensation from WCW and other matters within the subject jurisdiction of the agency. So, Director Weiner, it's now officially your turn.
I will be brief as usual. Since our last meeting in August, I attended the Mayor's Conference, a board special meeting, El Sobrante MAC, West County Forum, Richmond City Council, East Richmond Heights MAC during our hiatus. We have a meeting on Wednesday and they have a meeting on the same Wednesday. So I attended their meeting. I met with the GM on a one-on-one and I found the lost coast of California. and I found Hidden Valley. So a lot of mysteries were solved in my absence. I was also, in September, I was also blessed by a visit from my daughter and grandson. As I was busy following the toddler around all day, every day, I had only one service day in September, and that was last night's Richmond's contentious city council meeting that went on, and then it went on. And after that, it went on again. As far as the stroll, it's going to be great, as usual, a lot of fun. Come on down. You might know that I'm on the board of the Chamber of Commerce, and it's their big event of the year. And I'll be setting up cones and close down the dam road. So walk on the dam road and have a good time. There'll be music. I'll be in the parade for the green team, and I don't know what silly song we'll be singing or what silly marching we'll do, but that'll be fun. I'll also be at our, I'll spend some time at our booth, which will be there, and we're a sponsor, and I really appreciate that the board, the district is sponsoring that event, so that's my report.
Thank you. Director King Meredith?
Thank you, President Rentila. The meetings that, and conference that I had a chance to do while we were out was the CASA, and it was held in Monterey at this time, and the different sessions that I attended on the 20th was, when we got there at 5:30, it was the president's reception, where you can meet and greet. That was on the 25th. On the 26th was the open general session and selections of different courses. We had a special meeting at that time, and it was, we got a chance to pick our sessions. And one was playing by the rules with the Brown Act, and I attended that with President Rentila, and also the general manager performance evaluation was the midday of a session. And then on the 27th, we had another general session that morning at 8:30. And one was the local elections, where it was quite full. Some of the, as you know, some of the session was standing room only, so you had to make another selection. But again, we had beyond legislation, and it was an update, like we just heard, just from a presentation earlier tonight about the PFAS. The other was an audit. I selected the session for the audit workshop, and therefore you look at the compliance instance. See, it's best practice to have your audit split up in two meetings. You have one to look at the compliance, and then from compliance, and then you do an overall at the end of the year. So that was very useful, seeing that we were doing things very within spec and compliance at this time, because it was a conversation of how you do within your agency or your organization. So that was on the 27th. And then on the 28th, we had a closeout. So I'm just making it very brief. That was the Monterey session of WCASA. And then I got a chance to just briefly talk with I didn't attend totally with the North Richmond MAC, but as far as talking with the chair, he told me what we went over, and it was nothing different than what we had did before with the fire department coming in, telling how to clear 5 feet away from your properties and what to look for, and to make sure, that your home is not cluttered at this point. and to look at safety values when it comes to fire, especially during the summer months. The other thing was I did get a chance to, on Zoom last night, as Director Weiner mentioned, it was on and off recess. And one of the things that I was supposed to have spoken last night upon a new collaborative that we're putting together, and it is the African Americans of Excellence that we're looking at 1.5 million to be brought in to work with African American males and boys, men and boys. So I'll talk more about that once that's get, really formulated, because what we're doing, we're going through a process right now. So with that, that ends my report.
Thank you very
Okay.
much. That was good. So before we move on to Vice President Sudduth, I just wanted to let the audience know that Director Alvarado had to leave the meeting early, and he apologizes, and so he won't be giving a report this evening. So moving on to Vice President Sudduth, do you have a report this evening?
It's okay. I'm going to have to send this to Robin because it's like after midnight here and
I
it's
know
like
it is.
later. Um, so I'll just say it really fast. I went to a couple of state water regional control board meetings. Of course, our board meeting, the Well Untapped Network Energy Education Retreat down in Big Creek that was sponsored by Southern California Edison. A couple of civic community coalition meetings, our Bay Area BIOSOLIDS coalition meeting, the CASA BIOSOLIDS meeting. I went to CASA, several Board of Supervisor meetings, our FNA meeting, which Director King Meredith forgot to mention
I know, yeah.
in August, so I'll say it for her. Our Sierra Club Water meeting. I spoke as an environmental speaker at an Optimal Health meeting twice. I said the Board of Supervisors meeting, and then I met with outside counsel. I had a deposition taken in a matter for the district. I attended several grants webinars, one called the Build Grants, and that the state put on. I went to the CSDA conference. I attended several county sustainability meetings, 350 Bay Area, our climate meeting, the state's Department on Status of Women, several Labor Day, labor breakfasts and lunches in Oakland, Richmond, Berkeley, and Solano County, the Women's Leadership webinar, several Oakland City Council, El Cerrito City Councils, and Richmond and Pinole. Several hazardous material meetings, the state legislature meeting on SBE, DBE. I attended yesterday Jesse Arreguin's meeting on several of his bills dealing with water, wastewater, and labor. The Contra Costas Ad Hoc Illegal Dumping Committee meeting. Several of the Resilient Shoreline Committee meetings. The Planning Commission meeting for the county. Several 9/11 events. The Economic Opportunity Council meeting, the County Zoning Administrator Committee, and a Government Grants and Funding webinar. And lastly, this one I will talk more about at our next meeting, but I did want to give you guys an update. I just can't do it right now. It was on the 20th of last month. With Well, I went to the California legislature to give a briefing on, we delivered a briefing on a UC Davis report that Latinos for Water helps with on the number of women and Black and brown women, and Black and brown women in particular, but more so women who hold positions, elected positions, and C-suite positions in the water and wastewater industry. And the report is being disseminated throughout the state, and it is a phenomenal report. Es todo.
Wow, that's it?
The research is just the young women who helped do it, and Dr. Samuel Solis, who was the presiding professor. That report is just it's a groundbreaking report. But that's it. Thank you.
Wow, that's a lot.
It is. And I'll give the details of this particular leadership summit and the rest of the week later.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. For me, I also attended the CSDA conference in Monterey, which is California Special Districts Association. We had 3 days of classroom training with some of the premier law firms in California. We had Joe Theismann from the Washington Redskins was there as a motivational speaker, and he was terrific. If you ever get a chance to see Joe Theismann, look him up on YouTube. He's a phenomenal motivational speaker. Also attended the Mayor's Conference, which was held in El Cerrito, but it's called the Berkeley Golf Course, way up on the hill, beautiful views. The East Bay Bike Coalition was there, and they were talking about bicycle lanes and bicycle training and safety. And so if you're interested, look them up. It's a nonprofit. And then at our RNCC meeting, we had John Joya, and he spoke about the $33 million air quality settlement disbursement, which was key. And then at those RNCC meetings, we always have RPD, the fire department, the mayor's office, economic development, planning department, community services and public works, among others, that give presentations. And the idea is that the neighborhood councils bring all that information back to their neighborhoods for their neighborhood council meetings. That being said, we have a city council. I attended the city council meeting as well. It was pretty contentious with the police unions and the city council, some of the city council meetings or members. And then there was the Hilltop Horizon site specific that was introduced, and I called in on that. There's just an incredible amount of density, and so it may be, as they say, a 20 to 30-year project. I had Prologis call me, and we spoke about it. We spoke about the property and what their plans are. And then on September 25th, Thursday night, 7 p.m. at the Hilltop Community Church, our neighborhood, the Fairmead Hilltop neighborhood, which this building is located in, will be having Assistant Police Chief Tim Sivens coming up there, giving a presentation, talking about why they're low on police officers and what the public can do to help them. So people are frustrated because when they call the police, they don't show up. It's because they don't have enough police officers. So it's an ongoing problem. And on that note, our police chief, who is loved across the city, Bisa French, has announced that she is retiring. And so we're going to miss her. She's not leaving until January, but she's going to be missed. And I'm going to conclude my report there. Thank you. So moving on with the agenda, Madam Clerk, are there any announcements?
Excuse me. The next regular board meeting is October 1 here at 6:30 p.m.
Thank you. Is there anyone that wants to close the meeting on a beloved one or a deceased person? No? Seeing none, I guess we will call this meeting at 9:28, and I want to thank everybody for attending. Thank you.
Thank you.
Adios.
You do as well. No way. So now that's why Justin had to leave. Oh, why? So he can meet her. Are you serious? Yeah, she absolutely did. How did she know? Well, you know, she must have already packed hers. And she was talking to us. How? Right. Justin must have called her. Well, no, Justin came in and said, well, where's my laptop? And then Michael and I looked at each other. We're like, bet you Angela took it. Oh, I said that. Because I was like, she had to make